Hello, today we are going to speak about how to get startup ideas. So, firstly, we are going to talk about some mistakes which many of us make while we are at initial stage of startup or an idea of startup. So, we can conquer that. Mistake number one is believing that you need an amazing idea, an idea which no one has executed upon before, an idea which is just kind of perfect idea. You need such idea to get to conquer, to make your startup a successful one. But the case isn't so. Let's look at some examples first. So when Google was started, it was not the first search engine. Yes, it was around 20th, and I don't know the numbers, exact numbers, but it was not the first search engine. When Facebook started, it was not the first social media network. Yes, so when all of these companies started, they didn't thought that no one has came here before, so that people have came here before, so I should not enter this market. Yes, and the idea was not the perfect one. It became perfect slowly by slowly executing and working upon that idea. So we ask what is needed exactly to get started in a good manner. So we can say a good enough idea with great execution, because many of them have started their startup with the same idea, with the same concept, but they lacked the execution somewhere. They made some mistakes. So what is required is a great idea with great execution. Mistake number two: people just get started with any random idea which they come across in their mind, which they are not very really interested about. That's not a big mistake, but if it does get successful, then you will work years and years into it. So into making that idea a successful company. So here what is needed is you choose idea little carefully, little, that whether you are passionate about that idea or not. In the startup community, we'd say it founder market fit, whether the founder is fit for the startup community which he is building. So that's also a point to be noted. It's not that great, but it really does matters. Let's talk about the third one. It is starting with a solution instead of the problem. So when people get some random ideas, example, Uber for plumbers. So it is better advised not to start with a solution, but start with a problem that will make your idea into the possibility of becoming successful will be much more enhanced. Believing that good startup ideas are very hard to find. Now let's see that how to evaluate your startup ideas, whether it is good or not. How big is this idea? So what you can do here is you can look for similar big companies who are solving the same problem which you're solving. Now looking at that, you can say that if they are doing something good, okay, they are at a good level, then it is really a good, your idea is really a good idea, and you can work upon that in a different manner. Also, if you're doing something that is not very much great today, but it is going to be very much big and very much great in the coming times. Example, Coinbase. The cryptocurrency, the blockchain technology is going to boom in the next coming few years. So building something like that is also a very good way to that yes, you're going in the right path, and your idea is going to be much successful. The next one which comes is founder market fit, which means are the founders expert in what they're doing? Do they love to work in that project? Are the founders good enough to work in that idea? Because if you give an idea to different peoples, they will not work in the same manner. So are the founders expert in what they are doing, and are the founders do the founders love working into that idea? Now, how sure you are that it's actually solving a real problem, and how big is that problem? If the problem you have faced that problem by yourself, then chances are that it's a real problem. So when you're making something that you personally want, that's also a good way to know that you're the idea which which you will be working upon is a good idea. Let's look at some filters which you should not be focusing upon when you're getting started. You might think that this idea is so much hard to get started upon. So it's not really the case. When you will start, you will know how hard it is actually. So you should at initial stage you should not focus upon that thing, the specific things which I am going to share today. The second one is boring space. Work seems to be so boring, but when you actually get into that, then you can come to know that how exactly is that idea. Seems too ambitious. This idea, it's so much ambitious. It was not possible. Things like that. This is very common reason that there are too many competitors in this field. So what you need to do here is you need to focus upon what they didn't, what they missed, what they are lacking. So by conquering that, you can achieve great heights. You can make your startup idea into something different than theirs, and yes, you'll be actually focusing on the same arena, same area, but you will be working a little differently by looking at what they have missed.